Let's talk May reading plans of 2024. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. My name is Kris and today's video is the May TBR. Now I'm going back to a TBR. It has been an MBR, it's been a WBR before this year, but I do have a solid plan for the month of May to start working my way through some review copies, some arcs, and also some sequels that have been gifted to me. So all of these have come from authors and I'm playing catch up. So I am very sorry to all these authors who have sent something to me and I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm going to be making amends over the next couple of months, which is why this is back to a TBR and very much a planned reading list for the month of May. Before we jump into the video today, make sure you're checking the description box down below for links to my social media and Discord, should you want to come along for the ride. Now, I do have a mix in here. A lot of these are sequels. Another thing I'm trying to do for the remainder of the year is making sure that I'm coupling the beginning of new series with some form of series continuation. So I, like many of us on this platform, will get excited by new and shiny things, we'll get excited by review copies and arcs and everything in between, and we'll just take on too many book ones. And the result of that is when we do our series check-ins later in the year or whenever we do them, it's like, oh dear, I have about 50 series that I'm in the middle of and I'm excited to continue on with, but I'm just not finding the time. So for me, for the rest of the year, I'll be looking at making sure I'm getting through those review copies because I do have a backlog and I don't want to leave authors hanging. So for the next couple of months, I'll be working my way through those. And if I am starting new series, I'll be coupling that with a series continuation of some form, whether that be indie or trad pub or just something that I'm currently in the middle of. So the next time I do that video, I may have less. Who knows? I may still have more. That's the way the cookie crumbles. We say these things and then we get distracted. So, there's that. I also am beta reading again this month. So I've been fortunate enough to get a beta read for an author, which I'll talk about pretty much straight away. So all of these, I believe, are indie books for the month of May, including a indie beta. So we have, I'm going to say 8 books on this list that I would like to get through in the month, but I am still reading the Malazan book that I'm up to, Reaper's Gale, which will probably take the first week of May to finish off, and I'm hoping to finish Dante's Inferno, but that may also carry over into this month. So, of the new things that I want to be reading this month, let's start off with the beta read by none other than Rob Lee. Rob Lee has a novella that is coming out, and it's got one of the coolest titles that I've come across in the genre, and that is The Performances of a Death Metal Bard. Doesn't that just sound cool? As soon as I heard the title, I was like, yes, I want to be all over that beta read, please. So that one is in my inbox, and I would like to do that pretty early in the month of May to get that beta reading report back off to that author, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's a novella. I think it's about 35,000 words, so that one should be nice and quick, and hopefully a very enjoyable time. The next thing I'll be reading in the month of May is an arc that I was gifted, and this is the Council of Athyzzia. I'm hoping I pronounced that correctly, by D.H. Hoskins. And this, it has a beautiful blue cover. I'm going with a very blue cover theme. It looks like, I didn't intend it to be that way, but maybe we'll do red next month because I have a whole bunch of red covers to read. So this one, and I'm going to pronounce most of these words incorrectly, so I apologize again to the author, but the Council of Athyzzia says, the Ossomancer is finally vanquished, but the work has only just begun. For a quarter century, the Dark Wizard and his undead hordes raged across Janor, leaving all in terror. Only the combined forces of men, dwarves, and elves, united by the desperation, were able to defeat him and end his horrific magic. Now the world is battered and broken, much needs to be rebuilt, and without a common foe, how long can all remain united? Hoping to maintain such unity, the mage Sonori and his aide Novena invite all to a council at the Magic Academy, Athyzzia. Novena expects such a council to be easy, especially compared to years of war, but soon enough she learns that politics are more difficult than magic and more dangerous. Novena assists Snorri in presiding over the council, but soon finds herself bartering votes and forging alliances to protect an already fragile world. How the council votes will reshape everything, and possibly not for the better. The Council of Athyzzia weaves together some of the most beloved tropes of fantasy, wizards and witches, elves and dwarves, magic and war, good and evil, into an exciting new context familiar to modern readers and fans of politic dramas and history. Here, a debate is as exciting as a sword fight, and a vote as tense as a pitched battle. I love political fantasy. This sounds like it's going to be right up my alley, and I'm very much looking forward to diving in. The next book I have here, and the last book one in a series that I have happening in the month of May, is going to be The Wolf of Withervale by Joaquin Baldwin. This is an ambitious, sweeping saga as epic as it is queer. Now, I have had a few people read this one already in my life and enjoy it or think various things about it, and I'm looking forward to my own thoughts on this one. I was initially going to read this one towards the end of 2023, but time sort of got away with me, so I'm hoping that I can fit this one in May this year. It says, Lego was an only child when the shapeshifter entrusted the wolf-like mask to his care, an artifact so powerful that it could come to shape the entire world of Nos. Now that he is coming of age, Lego is becoming ever more fearful of the ominous relic's influence of the Empire, who has scented its trail and is coming after him. Aided by his best friend and enigmatic scout and his trusty dog, Lego seeks refuge in the vastness of Heartpine Dome. An 80-mile-wide structure had remained sealed for centuries, safeguarding more than mere secrets. Now that the domes and trails are stirring, the mysteries of the long-vanished Miscam tribes are coming to light, and the shape-shifting animal spirits are making their return. I love wolves. I like shape-shifting, animal magic. It's also my own book. This is very exciting to me. Powers untold hide behind the blinkless eye holes of the candid mask. Powers that could tip the balance in the war. Lego is barely beginning to learn how to wield the dark visage, but he can already feel its potential, and he can feel a different change coming, deep in his marrow. This sounds very intriguing to me. Like I said, I'm a sucker for animal-based magic. I'm a sucker for shifters. I love it so much. So I'm very much looking forward to reading this one and finally getting the review out for Wolf of Withervale. Now, everything else I've got on here is a book two. No, I lied to you. I do have another book one. So I have successfully coupled my 4 book ones with 4 book twos. I think I'm doing excellently in this, and I'm very modest about it. But I do have another book one. Sorry, apologies, everyone. That is Unanimity. This is by Alexandria Almeida. Now, it since has had a cover upgrade, and the cover is beautiful. So I'll pop that one up on the screen if you want to have a look at it, but I'm going to be reading the blurb of this one. Shadow is a reluctant god with a broken mind and a death wish. He used to be Thomas Astley Byron, an affluent young screenwriter whose creativity and idealism saved a world from the brink of collapse. Together with Henry Nowak, an AI expert, Tom created Heaven on Earth by inventing a Jungian simulated reality that helps humans confront their dark sides. The benevolent manipulation platform turned the 2 unelected leaders into beloved gods, but now everything is failing. The worlds suffer as a sentimental Tom descends into his own personal hell, becoming the embodiment of everything he despises and a shadow of his former self. His journey from an optimistic, joyful Tom to a gloomy Shadow is paved with heartache and sinister interference from emerging technology. Humans and bots fight for his heart, but their aims differ. Some want to own it, some want to dissect it, and others to end its foolish beat. Estranged from the love of his life, the activist poet Nathan Storm, Tom fails to realize the biggest threat comes from within. None of the sticky stories that steer his life end well. Now, a young goddess, Estelle Nogi, has been appointed to replace him, and unlike Shadow, Stella takes no prisoners and her heart bleeds for no one. Who is pulling on Shadow's heartstrings? Are their intentions malign or benign? And it's all a matter of perspective, and Shadow has none left. That sounds really exciting. This one has been on my shelves for a really long time. Author sent me a copy. Thank you so much to the author for that, and I'll be getting to that one in the month of May. Now, everything else is a sequel, so I won't be reading the blurbs for these, but I will be putting the pictures of the books up on the screen if you are interested. So the first one that I have that I would like to get to in the month of May is The Marked Prince. This is by M.H. Woodscourt. This is The Mark of Valaith, book number 2. I really enjoyed the Shattered Arch that I read last year, or was it the year before? I'm not sure, but I've been sent book 2 and book 3, and I just haven't read them, so I really am looking forward to this one. It's YA, and it was a very sort of simplistic storyline that got darker and more complicated as we went on. A really fun fantasy adventure for people who are looking for that sort of thing. So I'll be reading The Marked Prince in the month of May. I will then be reading another YA continuation. This is going to be Purged by Aaron N. Hall. This is the continuation to Foreordained, which I read, I believe, last year. I really liked Foreordained. Now, I will say that the premise of that story is very simplistic. And again, it's YA, very easy for a young adult audience to grip and have and run with. And I'm really looking forward to the second installment of this one. I think this one will be a very easy read for me personally, just because of the experiences of book one. So my brain needs some easy stuff at the moment, and I'm looking forward to the both of those to try and scratch that itch. The next one I have is one I have talked about recently, and that is The Blinding Power by Cassidy Faylene. I was sent this one by the author. Again, very grateful for that, and I'll be continuing on with this series. This is also, I believe, YA, maybe bordering on new adult, because it is very dark for a YA series. I was impressed by the scope and the darkness of the first book, which is called The Awakening Fire, and I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. And the last one that I have on this list is a book that has been on my shelves for the longest time, and again, sent by the author, and a world that I'm really keen to get into because I very much enjoyed the first book, and this is going to be Light Fighters by Palmer Pickering. I've now read everything that Palmer Pickering has put out, including a short story that was sent to me. This was sent to me in that package, and it's the last one on the list for me to read. And I'm very much hoping to get caught up on this series, so I have read everything that Palmer Pickering has brought out, so I'll be reading this one as well. This is definitely the chunkiest book on the list for the month of May. Those are the books that I'm planning on reading. What are you looking at picking up in the month? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like the content, give it one of those. If you want to see more of it, click subscribe at your will, and I will catch you in the next video.